Hi, everybody. My name is Becky Zardy, and I am the preacher here at First Cumberland Presbyterian Church in Madisonville. I really felt led to just jump on here today and tell you a little bit about myself and why I'm here in Madisonville. I'm sure you can tell by my voice, I am not originally from the South. I am a Wisconsin native, born and raised. I know, I apologize. I am a Yankee. Can't help that. We've been in Kentucky, my husband and my children and I, since 2007. And we've been here in Madisonville for about a year and a half, a little over at this point. My story of how I came here to Madisonville, and you're joining me today in our beautiful sanctuary, is interesting, as I'm sure most of your stories are interesting. I wasn't always preacher material. I don't know that anybody really is preacher material. We're called by God to do an amazing job that I never quite feel worthy of. So some of my story is I was born into a great church family and grew up in a church, knew the Bible, knew all the things I was supposed to do, and knew what things I wasn't supposed to do. Unfortunately, I made some pretty rough life choices at the age of 23, and I left the church. I wasn't in church for 10 years. I got into drinking and partying pretty heavy. And unfortunately, there is a culture that goes along with the alcohol and with partying with the alcohol. And I was pretty heavily involved in that culture for a long time. And then God started speaking to me again. And I knew I wasn't doing right. I knew I wasn't acting right, thinking right, but I carried such a heavy burden of guilt, of sorrow, and definitely shame that I just didn't think God would ever want me back. I mean, I had given him my life when I was young, and then I did a 180 and did everything I shouldn't do. And so I didn't think that God would let me come back into his house. I didn't think that God would love me again. I didn't feel like I was worthy of that love again. I had done so much. And yet, God put this amazing person in my life. And if you ever get a chance to personally know me, I would love to share that story with you. It's definitely a God testimony. But this person came into my life at the time when I needed them. God was working on my heart, trying to get me back into church, trying to get me to turn around again and come back to a more fulfilling destiny. And this person, even though they didn't realize that, God was using them in such a mighty way, because this person loved me right where I was. No judgment, no pointing fingers, no guilt, no shame, but just love. I mean, truly loved me for who I was, right where I was. And so it was with them that I started coming back to church. And I remember one of the first times I was back in church, I just sat and cried because I carried all this shame and regret from my past sins. that I just didn't think I could move beyond. And yet I could feel the love of not only this person who brought me back to church, but the church family. There was so much love and so much care for me and my soul that it was overwhelming and amazing and absolutely awe-inspiring. Little did this person know that a few years later, I was going to feel the call to ministry. And at first, when God really put it on me that he was calling me to ministry, I remember driving home after church thinking, God, you're insane. I mean, you have completely lost your mind if you think I can be in the ministry. I mean, you know my past sins. You know the things that I've walked through. You know all the insanity and what people are going to say about me and what people are going to think about me and all the judgment that I'm going to face. And yet, here I am, pastor, with my past and all. Now, I realize that most of us, not all of us, have a story. We all have things that we've walked through. Wrong choices, bad judgment calls. And I hope that every church offers you the love of Jesus the way that they should. But I can tell you that here for sure, at First Cumberland Presbyterian Church, that's what we have. And that's what we offer. I would love to get to know you. I would love to share more with you about the awesome and awe-inspiring journey God has taken me on, and how he's used my past, the things that I've come through, to help other people understand how much Jesus really loves them. And I'm here to tell you today, Jesus really loves you, right where you are, just as you are. That he cares about you, that he wants to have a personal relationship with you, that he wants to know you, and he wants you to know him. So this Sunday, we have Sunday school at 10 o'clock, and then we gather together for worship at 11. Maybe you've been thinking about going back to church, or maybe you've never been to church. Maybe you're just curious about who this Jesus character is. Would you give me the opportunity to talk to you, to share maybe more of my story with you, to let you know that I understand. And more importantly, God understands. And he still cares. I hope you can join us this Sunday. We'd love to see you. Until then, God bless and have a beautiful day. Bye.